Hello, welcome to Retro for You. Do you remember back in the day you used to go to the computer club meets and round your mates, etc. when you had the Amiga, and you had to carry these big boxes of discs around which you had stacked on top of each other, and you flicked the lid open and you could flick through the discs. It took you forever to find anything. Now, because we live in the future, we don't need these big boxes anymore. We can fit everything on an SD card. And to do that, all you need is one of these Gotek drives. So what we plan on doing today is modifying the A500 Plus we fixed the back end of last week with the Gotek drive, but obviously we're going to modify the Gotek drive as well and do some other bits and bobs. So join me after the short intro and we'll crack on with getting this fitted. So, like I said before, we're working on this, the Gotek drive. Now we're going to get this fitted inside the Amiga today, but I'm going to do things slightly different because usually people put these in and they replace their drive with this Gotek drive, and I don't want to do that because I like having the original drive as well. So I'm going to find a way of putting this inside as well. Now, I've looked into this, it should work. Also as well, people put these screens on the outside. See these little breakout boxes with these little adjusters. Now, I did make one of these and I thought that screen's tiny. What am I going to do? So I thought I'd make a bigger one. So there you go. I found this bigger screen, 2.42 inches. And you can see the difference. It is massive. Massive difference. The size doesn't matter, you say, but I think it does in this respect. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this fitted. Now, I know this looks rough, but I've got a new one getting printed at the moment. This was just a prototype, and obviously it was slightly wrong, but it'll do for now for the video, so I'll show you how it's going along. So I had to modify that screen to get it working with the Gotek, etc., but it should all be good. So the first thing we need to do is get into this Gotek. So we'll remove these screws. And then we'll just get rid of this lot. And we don't need this screen, do we? Oh wait, my favourite bit. And we don't need that. There you are, gone. All we're interested in was this board. So next what we're going to do is I'll show you how to modify the screen. Just gently twist these things here so they're straight. Pull this cable down here, and we're going to pull this ribbon out like so. And we're going to lift the screen off like that so the screen can now go away to one side safe. I'm going to dab some silver tape over it just to give it that protection. Okay. Same with this plastic connector here. So what we need to do is to move resistor 4 here to resistor 3. I'm going to add some flux. The flux I don't like, you know. And then we're going to use a hot air gun and just move it up. The next thing is R7 needs to be removed. So here we are again with the board. So when you first buy these, there's no software at all on these things. So what you need to do is to program these. And to program these, you need an A to A, which is just USB to USB. And a pair of tweezers. And what you need to do is to stick your tweezers in these 2 pinholes here. So it's the first 2 pinholes. Just like so. I mean, I will fit some jumpers later, some pins, so I can jumper it out. And then all you need to do is to plug this in. And you should hear that noise, that's in DFU mode. So next we need to go to the desktop. So here we are with the software. Now, what you got to make sure you do is first select this to DFU mode. So you can see here, this has to be in USB DFU mode. Unless you're doing it any other way. You can do it I2C way, etc. But we're going to do it today with a USB A to A. So USB DFU mode. And then it should show up here you got a device. If it's like this when you first load it up, which it more than likely is, just press this button here and select English. Okay. So now you've done that, you press next. And target is readable, press next to proceed, etc. So now this would all be blank on yours basically, and it'll tell you here what chip you've got. I've got 415. So again, we next this. First thing you need to do is go on to protection and disable and next. It says blah blah blah. You can't see it. It'll come up with a warning basically anyway, so you just put yes and then it'll blank it. Okay, now press the back button. There you go. If you click on download to device here, so it's on erase, and then click add, and then I told you mine was a 415, so add the 415 hex there. So that's a 415. And then just type flash and next, and operation successful. That is basically it to do. So that's now ready to be put into the Amiga or whatever you put it into, Amstrad. I guess they're working. So jobs are good, and that's that bit of programming done. Let's get on to the next thing. So I have these bits now. So that's the screen modified. This is the potentiometer for selection with a push button. That is the knob for the potentiometer. This is the USB breakout board I was telling you about, which I wanted to use. And these are just basically cables I've got made up, ready to go. Now you can buy these cables already made up, and they come on like, I'll show you, a nice big rainbow strip like that. And you can just pull off the ones you want, and it's easy to just plug and play. So what we're going to do next is we're going to plug these up to the Gotek. So I'm going to use this one for the screen. Now I have the pinouts, and I'll put them on the screen in a minute. Now I know where these are going, so I'm just going to plug these on myself, and then we'll stick the pinouts on the screen so you can see yourself. So it's just 4 wires off this header here for the screen. Now this is what you normally need. For the little screens, this is all you'd need. You need your ground, your VCC, your SCL, and your SDA. But as this is a bigger screen, you need also the reset pin, which is here. I plugged this orange, and the reset pin on the Gotek is here, like so. So next we have the selector. You can see here is this header here. So this header turned around that way, if that makes it easier for you, corresponds to these pins here. So you got the rotary button, the rotary direction or DT, the ground, the +5 volt, and the rotary click, and obviously the button switch, which is here. So again, what we do, we've got a red wire for VCC. We have a black wire for the ground. Then we'll have a brown wire for the switch. A green wire for DT. Turn that around because it's not facing the right way as the others. And also a yellow wire for click. So all we need to do now is to plug them onto corresponding ones here. So obviously you've got your ground there, which is in the top corner. You can see then you got your 5 volt, which is here. I should have platted these, shouldn't I? You got your green, which is your DT, and DT is here. Second one along. You got a rotary switch, which is brown, which is here. And last but not least, you've got click, which is the second pin down here. So that is all those wired up. Lovely jubbly, running all the way. Now really, like I said before, I mean we can tie back these, can't we? But it would be nice to plait it. Tell you what, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to plait it. Yeah, I can't help it. I can't help myself. I'm going to have to plait it. So if you remember where these were, it is black, red, brown, green, yellow. So bear with me a minute while I get this plaited. Job's a good one. How does that look? Looks a bit like the, what's that country? Come on, Brazil. Looks a bit like Brazilian colours. Do you not think so? So that's ready to go into the actual machine. So what we're going to do now is, like I said before, also what we're going to do is put an external USB. So I've got this little USB breakout board. These are really quite cool, as you can see. So what we're going to do, we're going to solder this, okay? So before we solder this up, I'll show you here. You got pin 1, which is 5 volt, pin 2, which is white, negative data, pin 3, which is data positive, and pin 4, which is ground. So they're the cables we need to solder. That's that wired now. Okay, so the next thing I'm working on is this switch. This is to select the drives. So we're able to select the Gotek or the floppy drive. So hopefully you can see here, this is a cable I did before. Unfortunately, when I was recording doing it, it forgot to record. I had a bit of issues with this new camera, etc. So I'll show you what I've done is I've cut basically number 10 out here. So I scalpeled along it and then I've joined 3 wires. One here, one at this end. So that switch will bridge either this one to that one to enable that side, or this one to that one to enable this. So that'll make basically DF0 either this one or that one or this one or that one, whichever way you're looking at it. So that's the way it should work. So what we need to do is connect these wires to the switch wires. So obviously the grey is in the middle, because that's the one that it connects to either there or there. So you get how it works, you'll get it. Right. So depending on which position this in is which drive is DF0. So what I need to do now is just strip these back and connect them to these wires here to the switch. And there you have it. It looks pretty cool, that does. I'm quite happy with that. It looks a lot tidier than what it did. So now let's get this installed into the Amiga. So what my plan is to mount the Gotek around here. So first things first is to glue the first one there. So we're just going to get some glue around there. Dab some of the old super glue, hopefully not get it on my fingers. Press it on. Hopefully this will hold very well. I'm just going to hold it on for a while. That's actually gone and stuck. And the next one will have to go in a certain position. So I'm just going to go and dab a bit of glue on it. And line that one up. And that's it. Yeah, no, I just moved that, didn't I? But again, we'll just press it down solid. And then you can see there that lines up. So we'll be back in half hour to hopefully fasten that on. And then there's a Gotek installed inside. So it's now time to start getting this installed. Now these have glued now. So what we're going to do is just fasten the Gotek into here and start connecting it up. So it should, by rights, just screw into place here. That's a Gotek installed. So what we need to do now is to start plugging stuff up. So I think this wire is a bit too long, but we can sort this out later. So we're just going to plug that in. So we're connected up to the USB header, which is out here. So we can connect the Gotek drive up like so. And then this one will obviously go to the floppy drive. And then we've got the cables there, and then that one to the board. So that should all be ready to go. We're going to sort this breakout box out. So we'll just zoom in a bit to there. So what we need is one of these switches here. So we've got this one here that we had before. So we've got ground and positive, ground and positive, then yellow for switch, green for DX, and then brown for click. And that can be fastened inside this box. So I think the easiest way to do it would be this way. Just like so. And then we'll tighten that up. Like so. Can you see? That needs going a bit more level. Put this on. Should have put it on straight actually with the button up here. Next, we need to fasten this screen in. And we need to put some cables onto this. So we need, like I said before, we need a ground. We need a VCC. We need SCL. We need an SDA. And also we need a slightly different colour. We need like a yellow for the reset. Oh, lovely jubbly. Now this can go in here. So that's a lot more solid now, and we can remove this plastic as well. It's just not quite there on size, but it's better than what it was. Still says Amiga on the back. I'm going to get him to adjust it a bit more. Now the guy that does all my printing is called Geek Printing. I'll put you a link to his website probably in the bottom now. He's a good guy. I mean, he keeps trying for me. So there's the OLED screen, which is nice and big. And we need to fit this USB as well, which we've got in the other side. So the USB will fit along the back here. And that's that breakout box done for now. We just need to make sure we get all these wires wired up correctly. So bear with me while I sort that out. So I've got the glue gun once it warms up, and I'm just going to glue this USB into place for now. So we'll let that go off. We'll unplug this glue gun. And now that is the USB in place. I don't know how it's going to hold with the glue gun, but we'll see, won't we, when we go to plug something in. Now these wires are going to want extending. Unfortunately as well, what I've noticed is the tabs were too big. So that's something else that needs visiting. Like I say, this is still really prototyping it for me. So what we need to do now is to get this in place and pull all these wires through and cables. That does look big, like I say, but I like it. I like this. It's like a big unit on my Amiga, like a big boil, but it is what it is. So what we're going to do now is we're going to flick this upside down and just bear with me while we connect this up. So I plugged the Gotek up. I've connected these wires and extended them. Now I was looking for some tie wraps, but it's typical, I can't find any anywhere, so I just need to tidy these cables up, but they don't look too bad, do they? So what we're going to do is we're going to start putting this together and give it a test and see if it works. It's been a long project, this has, over the past week, so I'm just going to see how it goes on. So join me in a moment. So it's late at night. I've got everything back together. I couldn't find the diving board, so you see the modulator to convert it to RGB for the screen image. So I've set another camera up onto the screen here. So hopefully you can see this working now. So we're going to power the Amiga on now. And first should be running. Will probably be, it's set for Christmas Lemmings here, do you see it? So Christmas Lemmings should actually load on there, which it looks like it is. So you can see on there. And you should be able to hear soon as well. I do need to sort out this because I realised after reading that the composite video output on the Amiga 500 Plus actually outputs in monochrome. How brilliant is that? But as you can see, there's Christmas Lemmings, and it all seems to be running fine. Like I say, there's never any music on the start of this, but that is running off the Gotek. There you go. Obviously, I'm not going to play this. We can do some digging if we want. Whatever is facing the right way. So, obviously, that's working. So, what we need to do now is to flick this switch here. So, with the switch forward, it will indeed load a disk. You can see the floppy drive access light going, and you can see the syndicate there. So that has actually loaded. So there's syndicate loaded perfectly. So now all I've got to do is pull this switch backwards, not forwards like I did last time, and that should now ignore the floppy drive and load Christmas Lemmings again, which I've got. I'll tell you what, let's change it to 9 fingers. So let's see. So I've got 9 fingers there on the screen. You can see that screen is lovely and clear, and it's big. I mean, it's just really good for me. Obviously, it needs painting and everything, but as you see, 9 fingers is loading fine. So that's it. My project worked. Now, I know you've probably seen loads of videos on this, but this is my first time I've used a Gotek. So I thought, I don't want to replace the drive, I'm just going to go all out and do this. It was a lot of work, I must admit, but it's been worth it in the end. I mean, I prefer this Amiga now because I can use USB, I can use disk, I can also image from the Gotek to the floppy disk, so it's really good. So there you go, it'll ask the disk too, and I should have it on here. I was a bit soon, but so let's just turn that down. If you're new here, please hit the like button. Comment down below anything you want to comment, even if it's hello. And I shall see you next time on Retro for You. See you soon, guys. Bye.